Hey guys, today is Monday and that means Ashes Bashes, and I don't know why, oh my goodness, I don't know why the lighting is so crappy. It's like beautiful and sunny today, so you'd think that it would cooperate, but yeah, for some reason it's just not lighting in the right areas, and I got hair in my mouth and the camera can only go so far. Anyways, I'm not off to a really great start here today. I've got hair all over the place and ugh. Anyhow, um, today on Ashes Bashes, I'm going to be talking about spring and the fact that all of us tend to, and I think I've talked about a little. Oh my goodness. I cannot speak today or function today. This is crazy. I've had like a sinus problem the last few days. Something's like caught up in my sinuses, so for some reason it's like building pressure on my brain and stuff, so I'm totally out to lunch half the time. I feel like I'm in space and I can't even think straight. Anyhow, I will try my best to get through this, guys. Yeah, so it's spring. The weather is not the warmest. It's definitely not spring weather. Hopefully it will warm up. I don't know what the weather is like wherever you guys are, but hopefully it's been a lot nicer than here in Ottawa. Um, Today is kind of sunny, but it's still really chilly and windy. It's more fall weather, closer to like winter weather than it is spring. So while we're still kind of plowing through this last bit of cold weather before the warm finally comes to cheer us up and make us beautiful again, um, I wanted to sort of talk about little tips and tricks that can kind of get you through this sort of last bit of what I'm calling winter, even though it's the beginning of spring. One thing that I've been doing, which everyone does usually at this time of year, is spring cleaning. Now, I'm the kind of person that generally likes to purge every few months because um, I'm very thrifty and stuff like that, and I tend to start to accumulate a lot of things that I think might be useful, or I plan on using, or want to find a use for because I don't want to throw it away. But in a small one-bedroom apartment with two adults, a child, a large dog, and a fat cat, things get a little cramped. So I can't do that. And the storage lockers are full. We've got two of them, so I don't really want to have to pay for a third. So yeah, anyhow, I digress. That seems to be my thing this week. Anyhow, spring cleaning is to me, it's very important because, especially in the winter, we tend to make a lot poorer decisions than we do when we're bright and rejuvenated and just more positive in the spring and summertime. That vitamin D that we get from the sun really does have a dramatic impact on our lives and our attitudes and everything like that. So I particularly suffer from something called seasonal affective disorder. A lot of people do. Some haven't been diagnosed with it, but they still suffer from it. They just don't know that that's what it's called. A lot of Canadians, apparently, more so than other countries in the world, tend to suffer from it because of the lack of sunshine in the summertime and stuff like that, and the fact that we don't spend as much time outside and all those things. So it's important in the winter to get your vitamin D through a supplement. But anyhow, so other than spring cleaning, I also like to pamper myself a little bit. A lot of us, especially the women, tend to let go of a few, beauty routines that we normally tend to do in the summertime because more of our bodies are showing. And so this is the time of year where I like to start getting my hair, back in order, or, your nails and your feet. Manis and petties are, a great thing to do, and you don't have to spend a ton of money. You can have a bunch of girls together and have sort of like a mani-pedi party. You could even do it, with your mom, and do like just a mom-daughter thing. You could go to a salon. But one thing that I always suggest before going to sort of like a swanky salon and paying a hand and a foot see that? A hand and a foot, to get a mani-pedi done. Try contacting the beauty school or one of the beauty schools in your areas and seeing if they offer discounts, or sometimes if there's people that are doing apprenticeships or something like that at a salon, they'll actually offer to do it for free just because they need the practice and stuff like that. So look into those types of resources as well, because not only then are you helping yourself, but you're helping somebody else get ahead in their potential career. So it's kind of a win-win situation in more ways than one. So keep all that kind of stuff in mind. It's also a great time to obviously get back in shape. That's another thing that I wanted to talk about. And not only physically, but mentally as well, because we tend to get kind of like down in the dumps, and we get a bit more moody in the wintertime. I mean, granted, understandably so, the weather really sucks, and that definitely does wear on us a little bit, but now's a great time to sort of get back into a more positive vibe. And granted, I'm sure a lot of us have been going to the gym throughout the winter and stuff like that, but now's a great time to go outside and do some of that, working out. And I'm lucky enough that I have a terrace, mind you, that I have to share with like the whole building, but I'm able to go up onto the terrace and meditate or do yoga, or just go out and breathe the fresh air and do your exercises up there. Um, if you have a park that's nearby, I know a lot of people tend to get a little nervous about working out in public, but don't worry about the people that are around you, especially if you're in a park or in a public place where, everybody's welcome kind of thing. Then just go put some music on, kind of, create your own little bubble, your own little atmosphere, and just do what you have to do for the 30 minutes to an hour that it's going to take you. You know, especially depending on the time of day that you're doing it, most people won't. It's not like they're going to stand there and make fun of you and be like, oh my God, what's that person doing? So, yeah, I mean, it's really not that big a deal. It's just taking these little moments for yourself and, helping to, put yourself back in that, good vibe. So, other little things that, for myself, I tend to have to take little small moments of time during the day in order to, make myself feel as awesome as they do. So, for example, I'll take this time right now where I'm taking and making these videos for you guys. I generally do them in one take because I only have about usually 30 minutes tops to do this. My son plays, I put out his toys or books or whatever, and he plays around me. I have the apartment set up in a way that there's nothing that is going to harm him that's within his reach. So anything that is harmful is either away in a locked area, or it's higher up on shelves that he cannot reach, even if he were to somehow manage to climb on something or whatever. I've always been very conscious of that because, one, we live in a very small space and I need to be that way. Otherwise, I would constantly be attached at the hip to my son, freaking out about him hurting himself. And I'm the kind of mother that I want to give my son independence at the same time as I want to be a very active role in his life. So I do things in a way that I could sort of shadow him, and that way I'm not, constantly in a space or making him feel like I'm smothering him. And I think that's very important because it's definitely made him a lot more independent. It's made him quite the little character at 2.5, almost 3 years old. Anyhow, I digress again, but it's just very helpful to take those moments of time. And sometimes I will only get about 15 minutes, and I will notice that he's getting bored with his toys, so I'll have to wrap up the video a little bit faster than I anticipated. So for all of you at home, you may not have a child, but I'm sure you guys have jobs or other day-to-day activities like school or whatever else. So keep those things in mind, and it's good to sit down and make a plan prior to just deciding, oh, today I'm going to do this for myself, and then forgetting. And it's easy to get back into old habits and just get distracted by life, right? So kind of sit down and you don't necessarily have to write it out, but if you think it out, then that way you can sort of make a plan of attack and say, you know what, this week I'll start by taking 5 minutes, whether it's in the morning or before bed. And that way you can have it set in your mind that, okay, let's say start in the morning, 5 minutes in the morning for a whole week or, whatever. And then the following week, two 5-minute sessions, and then maybe add in a 10-minute one, at lunchtime, for example, when you're having your lunch. Take 10 minutes out of your lunch to either sit and read a book or do some stretches or do some deep breathing exercises. And yes, I used to do these types of things when I was working in the call center. I now don't have a job. I stay at home and take care of my son, which I've talked about in past videos. It's a choice that I made. It's a sacrifice I made, and it's definitely worth it. But anyhow, taking those little moments, deep breathing and meditating, for example. I used to get to work, and I used to get to work really early because of the bus that I had to take, and so I'd have about anywhere between 15 minutes to half an hour to literally just like sit and do nothing. So oftentimes I would read, but I started getting very, very stressed out, and so I decided that meditating would be the greatest way to start off. So I would read on the bus anyways and all that kind of stuff. So anyhow, I would get into work, and at first I would listen to this deep breathing exercise, and I'd just put my headphones in and listen to this guy, and it honestly worked miracles. I'm not even joking. I know to some people it sounds like such bogus crap, and you know what? Way, way back when I was like a teenager in high school, I was kind of the same way. I was always very spiritual, but some of that stuff to me was mind over matter kind of thing. So if you don't really believe in it, it's not going to work. And I just was at a point in my life where I don't want to be stressed out. I don't want to be feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack at 24 years old because I'm a stress case. And that's kind of what I had become because I'm such a control freak. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm not in control of very many things because I'm on social assistance and I've made the choices that I've made. I'm very happy with the choices I've made, but it still causes me a lot of stress and anxiety because of how other people perceive me because of my choices. And they don't necessarily ask the questions they should be asking, and they don't necessarily get to know me as a person to understand why I made the choices I made. And so they just kind of see me as a welfare case, like a low poverty mom kind of thing, and especially because of the way I look, they just sort of assume that I'm kind of like low class, and it's unfortunate. I mean, granted, I make assumptions about people too, so I definitely understand where they're coming from, and everyone's entitled to their opinions kind of thing, so I don't take it to heart like I used to, but it definitely still does disappoint me. I mean, granted, everyone, I'm sure, gets affected by that kind of stuff. It just sucks because I've made all my choices for really good reasons and for very positive reasons, and I'm very proud of the choices that I've made. And sometimes it's just nice to be acknowledged for the good that you've done, even though you made a lot of mistakes. It's nice to have that pat on the back that says good for you for changing and turning your life around and not keeping down that path of no return sort of thing. So anyhow, that's life. I'm proud of myself now. I've since realized that I don't need other people's gratification. My own is enough, and my boyfriend slash hubby, and my immediate family and my son and stuff like that. Like, those opinions are what matter to me the most, and everyone else can take their opinions and have a nice day sort of thing. Like, I'm not going to say shove them because everybody's opinion matters, but you just sometimes have to take some with a grain of salt, as they say, and just move on. So anyhow, I'm just trying to think if there's any other little things that I may have forgotten. Another thing actually that's really important that a lot of people tend to forget are those kind of hidden dangers that kind of go unnoticed and can actually cause a lot of problems for us throughout the year. One of them is our shower head. A lot of bacteria accumulates in there, and there's a lot of buildup and gross stuff that takes place inside that shower head. And we wouldn't think so because we use it every day and there's water constantly running through it. But once the water stops running through it, it's a moist area. It's generally dark in there. It gets hot because the shower is, the heat from the shower and all of those other variables. So what you'd want to do is, if you can remove your shower head, soak it in a bowl of hot water with vinegar for 24 hours, and then use a toothbrush to scrub away any of the other grossies that are still left on there. But if you cannot remove your shower head, then you'll want to take a Ziploc bag. You'll want to put the water in the Ziploc bag with the vinegar, put it above your shower head, and then either tape it around or tie it around with string or whatever you got to do to keep it on there. And again, 24 hours and you're good to go. A couple of others are things like mold. I know when we go to put our air conditioners in, a lot of times we don't think about the potential possibility of it leaking and then causing mold, which could become a very serious problem and again make you very sick. Carpets are another big one. Carpets harbor so much bacteria, it's almost disgusting to think that we actually lay on them and allow our children to play all over them and stuff like that. So one thing that I suggest doing is using a deodorizer powder every time that you vacuum. It helps to kill some of the bacteria anyways, and it keeps it smelling a bit nicer. But steam cleaning it at least every 3 months. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but it is. I mean, it really, really is sometimes, but it's worth it. And just for dust alone, that's one thing that I realized with having such a small place and so many people in here with the pets and stuff like that. There's so much dust in here, and it was driving me crazy, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me why. And that's because I was here, we've been in here in this place for almost a year now, and I have yet to steam clean the carpets. And I was watching a show the other day, actually Dr. Oz as well as Rachael Ray both did similar segments, and both had the same hidden dangers and stuff like that, and very similar ways to solve the problems. So with my carpet situation, I've realized that having not steam cleaned it, there's probably so much dust and dander and stuff that every time I walk all over it and the dog's running on it, there's dust being sprayed up into the air. All these particles of crap are always coming up into the air. And yes, I vacuum daily, if not every second day at the very, very least. And I've been known sometimes to even vacuum twice a day because things just get a little crazy around here. So it's not that I don't vacuum, it's just that those particles get really caught, I guess, to the carpet. I don't know what it is, guys, but it's gross. And so those were the three main ones. Again, pillows were another big one. We never seem to wash our pillows, and we put our faces on those, and we breathe all that stuff in, and those are they're disgusting. We drool on them. So I would suggest once a month giving your duvet cover and your pillows a good wash in the washing machine. Put them in the dryer with some tennis balls, and that way it'll fluff it up and make it all good to go. But 3 months at the very, very, very least, if you don't want to do it monthly. And doing it more often than that is obviously beneficial, but again, you probably have to replace them more often, and it's more work. So if you're up for that, then cool. But if not, then at least once a month, 1 to 3 months, give or take. So, yeah. I think that was about it. I'm just trying to look around to see if I forgot anything, but I think that was it. So, yeah, and one last note in regards to the taking time for yourself. Even if it's a matter of getting yourself a coffee from your favorite coffee place, I'm addicted to lattes and stuff like that, and we used to go every single day, and we were wasting a ridiculous amount of money that we couldn't really afford, and so we stopped, and it's definitely helped financially, but I still go every once in a while because it's right down the street and I love it very much, and it just puts a smile on my face. And it's little things like this that make all the difference in the world. And for example, myself, I am on social assistance, and yes, Devin's father plays a very active role in his life, and you know, he definitely supports us as much as he possibly can and everything like that, but money is still tight. So, you know, a lot of people would think, well, like, how do you survive? And, oh, how are you happy? And blah, blah, blah. Well, to me, yeah, I mean, yeah, some days I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. Like, how are we gonna manage to pay the bills? Or I wish we had money to be able to do this or that. But I mean, you can still find ways to be happy and make memories and have fun and all of that kind of stuff without spending money. And sometimes you'll have more fun because you knew that you didn't have to spend money to have all of this fun. So, um, you know, yes, money definitely sometimes does bring happiness, unfortunately, but when they say money doesn't buy happiness, it's very, very true because you can still be happy without money. So, anyways, guys, I could go on all day, but I will not because that would be ridiculous. So anyhow, if you guys want any other tips or advice, or you guys need help getting through this last little bit of what I'm calling winter, which is technically the beginning of spring, but anyhow, tomato, tomato, right? Post a comment below, let me know what I can do to help, and I will do my best, and I will see all of you guys tomorrow for emptying the ashtray. Have a great day, bye!